Very good morning to all. You all are welcome in the e-learning classes of the Sacred Heart School. Today, in this video, we will discuss about the basic laws of the thermodynamics. In my previous video, we have discussed various basic terms used in the thermodynamics, and today, in this video, we will proceed towards the first as well as the second law of thermodynamics. And to prove the first law of thermodynamics, first of all, we will cover up the concept of the pressure, volume, work done. Is it clear? So before starting the first law, the basic terms like a system must be clear to you. Surrounding must be clear to you. The concept of the internal energy must be clear to you. And with the help of these terms, we will try to derive the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of the thermodynamics, also known as law of conservation of energy. If you want to prove this law, so first of all, we have to implement the concept of energy neither be created nor be destroyed. Only this energy can transform from one form to another, or you can say the total amount of the energy of the universe is said to be constant, and only the transformation of energy is possible between system as well as surrounding. If you want to prove this law, what you will do? And first of all, we have to consider here the one system, and in this system one movable piston we have to place at the center, and this whole system is insulated with the help of some insulating material. Now one gas is filled inside this container, which is shown by the yellow color here. Now to increase the pressure of this gas, some weight is allowed to put on this piston. What will happen now? This piston have a tendency to move downward, or you can say these putted weight on this piston is responsible to exert the continuous pressure on the liquid state, or you can say the gas particles filled in this cylinder. So in this complete pressure implementation, some heat is liberated, and this heat is transferred from upper side to lower side. After some time, what you will conclude here? क्या notice करेंगे आप? And now this piston shifted downwards from their initial position. So we can say कि basically the shifting of this piston downward is responsible for doing the W work done on the piston. If the initial internal energy of the system is E1, so after providing the Q amount of heat, the new energy becomes E1 plus Q. E1 plus Q. Q stands for what? That is the heat supplied to the system, and E1 stands for what? That is the internal energy. If you can represent this diagram, so in this diagram, this U is the internal energy of the system, and by this red color, first of all, we are providing the Q amount of heat. The net new energy becomes what? This new energy becomes E1 plus Q. E1 plus Q. E1 plus Q. And now, if you want to bring change of this internal energy U, so you can do some work done, that is represented by this W. So now the final internal energy of the system E1 should be equal to E1 plus Q plus W. On rearranging this equation, what you will notice? E2 minus E1 is equal to Q plus W, or you can say this delta E is equal to Q plus W. This expression, this equation known as the equation for first law of thermodynamics. So Overall, what is the first law? The total sum of the heat supplied and the total work done on the system, the sum of these two expression is equal to the internal energy change of the system. Or you can say the internal energy of the system can be changed by the two ways. The one way is by providing the Q amount of heat, and the second way by providing the W work done. And this work done maybe is of two type. Even the system can do some work done on the piston, or the piston can do some work done on the system. So in this way, the two values we have to estimate it for this W. First of all, when the piston moves downward, and this is known as work of compression. And on the other hand, when the piston moves upward, इसे बोलेंगे work of expansion. So work of compression and work of expansion we have to calculate separately, and in this way these equations can be modified further. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the first law of thermodynamics. Now overall the complete equations becomes delta E is equal to Q plus W. If work is done by the system, then W becomes negative. Whenever we will do some work done on the system, in this situation the work is taken with the negative sign. That is, the work of compression will be there. On the other hand, if system will do some work done on the piston, this work is taken with the positive sign. Sometime the positive Q stand for the heat is absorbed by the system, and negative Q stand for that is the heat liberated by the system. So whenever we will discuss about this first law of thermodynamics, that time we have to remember कि heat is supplied to the system or heat is liberating from the system. Or we have to remember work is done by the system, or you can say work is done on the system. Accordingly, we have to put the sign to find out this formula. The plus work done is for that is the work done on the system, and minus work done that is the work done by the system. So in this way we have done the first law of thermodynamics. Clear? And after that we are proceeding towards the next concept of the thermodynamics, that is the concept of enthalpy, as well as the concept of the enthalpy change. This enthalpy is denoted by this H. According to the basic definition of this heat content, this heat is equal to the E plus P into delta V, where E stands for the internal energy of the system and P into V, that is the product of the pressure and volume. So how you can define the concept of enthalpy in simple way? Whenever we will do some work done, whatever amount of heat is transferred, that known as enthalpy. Or you can say whenever we implement some energy on the system, or we have to transfer some energy by the system, and this calculated amount of energy known as enthalpy. Or you can say when we are able to calculate the amount of energy consumed or an amount of energy released during any work done, and this calculated amount of energy and simply known as concept of enthalpy. So this enthalpy is equal to what? Whatever change you can bring in the internal energy of the system and whatever work done that you are doing. Clear? In terms of the state function, what is enthalpy change? That is the final heat content and the initial heat content. The final enthalpy change and initial enthalpy change, that is delta H is equal to H2 minus H1. Now on constant pressure, this H is denoted by that is HP, E is denoted by EP, and volume is denoted by VP. In suffix we have to add the letter P, which indicate that the system is isobaric in nature, or you can say the pressure remains constant throughout. Second terms, the heat absorbed by the system on constant pressure, then H becomes HR, E becomes ER, and V becomes VR. तो फ्रॉम दिस A and B equation what you will conclude the equation, this delta H is equal to delta E plus P into delta V, where P into delta V that indicate that the pressure remains constant and volume changes from V1 to V2. So in this way the enthalpy change becomes delta H is equal to delta U, or you can say delta E plus P into delta V, and this expression known as the expressions for the enthalpy change. Now we are proceeding towards some of the terms used in the thermodynamics, that is the spontaneous process. All those processes which are taking place by own, all those processes in which no driving forces are required, that known as spontaneous process. What do you mean by the term spontaneous process? Whenever the two or more reactants are mixed together in a test tube, if the reaction between them is taking place own by own, without supplying the heat from the surrounding, without increase or decreasing the pressure or any other ways, अगर रिएक्शन अपने आप हो जा रही है तो दिस टाइप ऑफ द प्रोसेस नोन एज स्पॉन्टेनियस प्रोसेस. तो विदाउट एनी एक्सटर्नल इंटरफेरेंस अगर कोई भी रिएक्शंस अपने आप हो जाती है तो आप उसको स्पॉन्टेनियस प्रोसेस कह सकते हैं. एंड दिस स्पॉन्टेनियस प्रोसेस इन वन डायरेक्शन आर नॉन स्पॉन्टेनियस एंड इज द रिवर्स इन द डायरेक्शन. दिस प्रोसेस इज ऑफ टू टाइप, रिवर्सिबल एज वेल एज इन इरिवर्सिबल. अगर रिएक्शन एक ही डायरेक्शन में होती है तो आप इसको बोलेंगे इरिवर्सिबल. इफ द रिएक्शन इज टेकिंग प्लेस इन फॉरवर्ड as well as in the backward direction, and this is known as the reversible process. Second terms, that is entropy, and this entropy is widely used in the thermodynamics. What is entropy? That is the degree of randomness of a chemical reaction. What do you mean by the term degree of randomness? अभी आपने पीछे पढ़ा है कि किसी भी केमिकल रिएक्शंस के अंदर जब रिएक्टेंट आपस में एक दूसरे से इंटरेक्ट करते हैं तो मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ द रिएक्टेंट ए, द मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ द रिएक्टेंट बी, दे स्टार्ट कोलाइडिंग विद ईच अदर. इन दिस कंप्लीट कॉलिजन, अगर दोनों के बीच में कॉलिजन हो रहा है तो इन दिस सिचुएशन व्हाट विल हैपन, याद रखिएगा मॉलिक्यूल रैंडमली मूवमेंट करते हैं और मॉलिक्यूल्स का रैंडम मूवमेंट इस बात को इंडिकेट करता है कि रिएक्शन इज टेकिंग प्लेस. सो in the nutshell, how the entropy of the system can be defined. Entropy means degree of randomness. Randomness क्यों होगी? अगर कोई भी रिएक्शन रिएक्टेंट के बीच में हो रही है तो वहाँ पर रैंडमनेस मेंटेन हो जाएगी, जिसको हम कैपिटल एस से इंडिकेट करते हैं. तो टोटल डिग्री ऑफ रैंडमनेस कैन बी एक्सप्लेन बाय द टर्म कैपिटल एस, जो इंडिकेट करती है कि रिएक्शन इज टेकिंग प्लेस इन द सिस्टम. इफ द initial randomness of the system is S1 and the final randomness is S2, so delta S is equal to S2 minus S1. Or you can say for the reversible system, the delta S is equal to Q reversible upon T. Whatever heat is supplying for the reversible system, that time this expression becomes delta S and this Q reversible upon T. तो किसी भी केमिकल रिएक्शंस के स्पॉन्टेनियस होने के लिए एंट्रोपी ऑफ द रिएक्शन मस्ट बी पॉजिटिव. अगर एंट्रोपी पॉजिटिव है तो बेसिकली ये रिएक्शन काउंटेबल होगी. याद रखिएगा टू ऐसे कॉन्सेप्ट हैं, एक पढ़ेंगे आप गिब्स फ्री एनर्जी एंड वन कॉन्सेप्ट दैट इज द एंट्रोपी, जो फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ थर्मोडायनेमिक्स के लिमिटेशंस है. आपने नोटिस किया होगा कि अगर दो रिएक्टेंट को आप मिलाते हैं तो दीज टू रिएक्टेंट कंबाइन टू फॉर्म द प्रोडक्ट, और कभी कभी दो रिएक्टेंट कंबाइन करने पर प्रोडक्ट को फॉर्म नहीं करते. तो वाई इट्स सो, वाई द टू रिएक्टेंट्स आर नॉट एबल टू फॉर्म द प्रोडक्ट, और वाई ऑन द अदर साइड वाई द टू रिएक्टेंट कंबाइन टू फॉर्म द प्रोडक्ट. तो दोनों पॉसिबिलिटीज इक्वल होती हैं. तो किसी भी केमिकल रिएक्शंस के होने का या ना होने का पता लगाना है तो आप उसकी एंट्रोपी कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए. अगर आप किसी भी सिस्टम की एंट्रोपी को पॉजिटिव साइन से इंडिकेट कर रहे हो, इसका मतलब वो रिएक्शन होगी. ऑन द अदर हैंड एक और भी टर्म पढ़ेंगे आप, दैट नोन एज गिब्स फ्री एनर्जी. अगर गिब्स फ्री एनर्जी किसी सिस्टम की निगेटिव होती है तो वो प्रोसेस आपका स्पॉन्टेनियस होता है. So this entropy and the Gibbs free energy are counted as a basic limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. And now, after completing the first law and their limitations, we are proceeding towards the second law of thermodynamics. What is the basic statement of this law? The entropy of the system does not change for reversible process and increases from spontaneous process. So delta S universe is equal to what? Delta S of the system plus delta S of the surrounding, and which is greater than 0. दो ही बातें होती हैं. अगर सिस्टम की एंट्रोपी कम होती जा रही है तो सराउंडिंग की एंट्रोपी बढ़ेगी. अगर सराउंडिंग की एंट्रोपी बढ़ रही है, घट रही है, तो सिस्टम की एंट्रोपी बढ़ेगी. अगर किसी भी मॉलिक्यूल का ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम से सराउंडिंग के अंदर होता है तो सिस्टम धीरे धीरे स्लो हो जाएगा और सराउंडिंग के अंदर मॉलिक्यूल्स का मूवमेंट बढ़ेगा एंड द सराउंडिंग एंट्रोपी बिकम्स फास्टर. सो पूरे यूनिवर्स की टोटल एंट्रोपी हम कांस्टेंट मान के चलते हैं. तो डेल्टा एस ऑफ द यूनिवर्स इज इक्वल टू डेल्टा एस ऑफ द सिस्टम एज वेल एज द डेल्टा एस ऑफ द सराउंडिंग. अगर डेल्टा एस टोटल आपका 0 से छोटा है, बड़ा है सॉरी, तो सिस्टम इज इरिवर्सिबल, रियल है, स्पॉन्टेनियस होगा. अगर डेल्टा एस टोटल इज इक्वल टू 0 तो रिएक्शन इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम फेज, मतलब रिएक्शन इज नॉट टेकिंग प्लेस. पहले वो हो रही थी and forward reactions becomes equal to the backward reaction and the system becomes in the equilibrium state. And on the other hand, इसका y से वर्सा कर दीजिए. अगर डेल्टा एस टोटल इज स्मॉलर देन ओ, दैट इज द प्रोसेस इज नॉन स्पॉन्टेनियस. सो किसी भी केमिकल रिएक्शन की फिजिबिलिटी और यू कैन से किसी भी केमिकल प्रोसेस की स्पॉन्टेनिटी को अगर आपको चेक करना है तो डेल्टा एस ऑफ द सिस्टम मस्ट बी पॉजिटिव. And this statement known as the statement of the second law of thermodynamics. Clear? So these two laws are very very important, जिसके बेस पर आप thermodynamics की बेसिक टर्म्स को यूज़ करते हो. ओके, तो डायग्रामेटिकली वी कैन इंडिकेट द सेकेंड लॉ. अगर एक पार्ट की एंट्रोपी बदल रही है तो दूसरे पार्ट की एंट्रोपी आपको घटती हुई दिखाई देगी. अब आता है थर्ड लॉ. क्या है बेसिकली? The third law of thermodynamics is proposed by the Nust in 1906. और इन नस्ट का एक बहुत बड़ा एप्लीकेशन आप क्लास 12 में पढ़ेंगे इन द चैप्टर इलेक्ट्रोकेमिस्ट्री में, दैट इज नस्ट इक्वेशन. द एंट्रोपी ऑफ अ प्योर सब्सटेंस, प्योर क्रिस्टलाइन सब्सटेंस इज टेकन एज 0. आपके पास एक सॉलिड का ब्लॉक है, उस सॉलिड के ब्लॉक के अंदर सारे पार्टिकल कांस्टेंट होते हैं. अगर वो सारे पार्टिकल कांस्टेंट हैं, उसमें कोई भी मूवमेंट नहीं हो रहा है, तो टोटल एंट्रोपी ऑफ दैट सॉलिड इज टेकन एज 0. एंड दिस इज द बेसिक डेफिनेशन ऑफ द थर्ड लॉ ऑफ द thermodynamics. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू थर्ड लॉ, द टोटल एंट्रोपी ऑफ द एब्सोल्यूट सॉलिड or any crystalline solid is always taken as 0 because no movement is taking place between the particles of this solid. So in this way we have done the first law and second law and third law of the thermodynamics.